During a fascinating hour-long interview Thursday night, Kanye West told Tucker Carlson that he was made for this time in American history. It's wartime. We're in a battle of good versus evil. Kanye, like the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh, is ready for war. Are you? Are you willing to stand against the lunatics who see killing a baby in the womb as a fundamental right? How about the lunatics who think purple-haired teachers should talk to 6-year-olds about sex and sexuality? Or the lunatics who want to color code America and remove merit from the workplace and education? What's your line in the sand? Do you have one? Kanye does, and he drew it last night on Tucker Carlson. And he drew it again this morning over Instagram when he called out satanic rap mogul Puffy Combs or Diddy or whatever the clown is calling himself this week. Kanye, I got your back. Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Friday to you and yours. We have an awesome, fantastic, terrific show planned for you today. Delano Squires will be here. Royce White will be here. Shemeka Michelle will be here. Virgil Walker will be here. Man, it's going to be popping today on Fearless. Perhaps some of you saw Kanye's interview last night on Tucker Carlson. Perhaps you saw my reaction to Kanye's interview on Tucker Carlson show last night. We're going to unpack the entire conversation here today. You know, had a good little time on Tucker Carlson's last night, but you know, we had about 4 or 5 minutes. Here, we got as long as we want. However long we need to take to unpack the Kanye West White Lives Matter t-shirt, the controversy around that, and his interview last night. So let's get it started. Let me get this fire going, and then we'll bring Delano and Royce and Shemeka and Virgil on to fan these flames. Kanye West is not as confusing as he often sounds. His outlook on life stems from a defined set of values spelled out in the Bible. His actions and words often conflict with his outlook. He's normal. Every human being struggles to align their values and deeds. The difference between West and most human beings is the transparency of his failures. Yesterday, West sat down for an interview with Fox News host Tucker Carlson. The 45-year-old rapper, fashion designer, and provocateur was his usual mix of brilliance, confusion, contradiction, and oddity. When asked how people respond to a baby ultrasound lanyard he wears, West proclaimed his faith. Take a listen.
Just landed, and the lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen, I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet.
Yeah, so am I. It was a brilliant and courageous answer, especially for a Hollywood celebrity. We've come to expect that from Kanye West. Earlier this week at a fashion show in Paris, West and gal pal Candace Owens donned t-shirts emblazoned with the words White Lives Matter. The shirts mocked the Black Lives Matter movement. Via Instagram, Kanye called BLM a scam. Owens has a documentary set to release in 5 days, The Greatest Lie Ever Told, that is expected to further expose BLM's financial malfeasance and LGBTQ alphabet mafia agenda. Kanye is drumming attention for Owens' takedown of BLM. The progressive establishment, the globalists using race to divide, conquer, and queer America are frustrated by their inability to control Kunta Kinte West. That's my new name for Kanye. Adidas is threatening to dissolve its longstanding partnership with West. Corporate media outlets dispatched their legion of race police to publicly flog West for affirming the value of white life. Rolling Stone complained that the shirts legitimized extremism. A potpourri of black intellectuals deemed the shirts disgusting, harmful, and dangerous. West did not back away from the controversy in his conversation with Carlson. He said he acted on a gut feeling. He then oddly analogized the stunt to disgraced Olympic figure skater Tonya Harding. Take a listen.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter t-shirt, which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tonya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin, she was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles.
That's classic Kanye West. He contradicts. He brought Tonya Harding into it, but I love the ending where he's preparing us for battle. Kanye, at one moment, he'll produce an album titled Jesus is King, and then the next thing you know, he's collaborating with Lil Nas X on a song and video, Industry Baby, which depicts gay prison sex. West, like most of us, serves God and the world. The pull of the world is much stronger for West. He's one of the world's biggest celebrities. The success of his music and fashion depend on public opinion and popularity. He succumbs to those pressures from time to time. Fame is an intoxicating and destructive drug. Kanye is battling his addiction to it with biblical faith. I respect the sincerity of his fight. He truly values family and being a good father. He wants to see Black Americans improve our plight. He believes in the power of truth. His comments related to abortion and the normalization of obesity, he said it's actually clinically unhealthy, and for people to promote that, it's demonic. Those things reveal a deeper understanding of the cultural rot destroying America. We're in a battle of good versus evil. Kanye is one of the good guys. He's trying to be on the right side of God rather than the history left-wing atheists plan to write. That's my fire. I am Team Kanye. Before I roll out to Delano, I want to take care of a little business and talk to you guys about my good friends at Good Ranchers. It's October, which means Halloween is right around the corner. This is the year we settle the candy corn debate once and for all. Candy corn, what? Candy corn is real candy. You just need to add peanuts to it. But it's not the best treat. You know what is the best treat? A USDA prime steak from Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers delivers America's best meat and seafood to you year-round. Right now, they're throwing a huge October feast where you can get over 4 pounds of meat for free, 2 pounds of their Wagyu ground beef, and 2.5 pounds of their better than organic chicken for free with any purchase of one of their bundle boxes. Head on over to goodranchers.com/fearless to claim your special October feast offer today. Store-bought meat can be tainted with scary bacteria and has frightening inflated prices. Good Ranchers lets you save $25 on every box and locks in your price when you subscribe. Put an end to your meat buying nightmares by visiting goodranchers.com/fearless to get over 4 free pounds of high-quality beef and chicken. The real monster isn't under your bed. It's in the haunted local grocery store. Take control over your food with an October feast from Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Be a good soldier, support good ranchers. All right, let's roll out to Washington, D.C. and bring in our main man, Delano Squires. Delano, I know you had a chance to watch the interview last night. I know you wrote a column about Kanye and this whole situation. And you kind of focused in at a good starting point for this conversation. Kanye last night made it crystal clear he is committed to uplifting Black Americans. People can call him a sellout if they want, but his actions say otherwise.
Absolutely, Jason. When he dropped the name Dr. Claude Anderson, I said, oh, this guy's been reading, right? When you're talking about Dr. Claude Anderson, wrote the book Powernomics and talks a lot about how no community can really improve its social standing until it has an economic base, right? You can't do it through politics, or certainly not politics alone. So there were a number of times in which Kanye, he talked about ownership. He talked about economic independence. He said he can't think of any, majority Black town in which Black people own the municipality, own the land, own the infrastructure, own the industries. And that is a stark contrast to what people put out there about him, which is basically he's some mentally unstable puppet of white supremacy. So, to your point, and I said the same thing in my column, he's a complicated figure, right? And you compared him to Matt Walsh in terms of them being on the front lines of the culture war. The big difference is on any given day, I'm not sure who Kanye West is going to shoot. So one day he's got his gun aimed downrange, and then it's, we're like, okay, he took somebody out. And then the next day, as you said, and I said the same thing in my column with Industry Baby, you're just like, okay, I thought we were done with promoting this type of garbage in the culture. So he's mercurial. He's certainly an independent thinker. But one of the things I think that keeps people coming to him is the fact that he is so unpredictable in terms of his views.
Are you as sympathetic towards him as I am in terms of he's dealing with a different set of pressures than most of us are? He's a enormous pop culture celebrity star, has made billions of dollars, being popular and serving that secular audience. I think he's facing a different level of pressure. I'm not excusing it, but it's like when he strays off course, I get it. And I look at it no different than sometimes when I stray off course. Yesterday, I strayed off course and ate a bag of peanuts and potato chips I shouldn't have. And so we all fall short. And so I don't want to just because the Industry Baby thing threw me for a loop. I didn't get it. But I do get it. He makes money in that world, and sometimes he just submits. But are you as sympathetic towards him as I am?
Kanye can be a sympathetic figure, right? I'll say this. I was surprised about how much he talked about his dad, and you can tell he loves his father, and not just loves him, he respects him. He said, my dad is the most brilliant person I've met. He had ideas that people in power did not let him sort of fully flesh out because of their racism. He talked lovingly about his dad, even in relationship to his mom. And if you didn't know any better and didn't know Kanye for the first, or this is the first time you're seeing him, you wouldn't have known that his mom passed away some number of years ago, right? Because he talked so highly of his father. So I think he can be a sympathetic figure. But here's the thing, Jason, if I'm being completely honest. His flip-flops when it relates to these issues of culture are really no different than some of the ones that you see within hip-hop culture more generally. Because on one day, you'll have guys, shoot 'em up, murder, kill. And then something will happen, and then they'll say, Black Lives Matter, we need to put the guns down, and Black people, we're doing the white man's business, and we killing each other, we can't do that. And then the next day, they're back to Bloods and Crips, shoot, kill. So it's one of these things where, yes, can a person who leaves a particular life, whether a life of violence or drugs or alcohol abuse, can they be an effective spokesman and ambassador to people who are still in that life? Yes, but they need to have both feet out. If you're tipping back and forth on any given day and you have one foot in, one foot out, and you sort of playing hopscotch, it compromises your ability to really stand firm on your message. So my hope for Kanye is that at a certain point, he'll just say, I'm all the way out. And because I'm all the way out, I can go all the way in on these people. But if I'm with them on any given day, it's hard to really marshal a type of moral clarity and resources that I need to really fight this beast, because on any given day, I'm feeding the beast.
You know, I for some reason, I can't remember who I had this discussion with, if it was on this show or if it was in private, but sometimes people get caught up in thinking, hey, I'm going to reach a level of popularity in the secular world, and then I'm going to come out of the closet and say, and I'm a Christian. Ta-da!
Right.
And everything's magically going to change. And I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but they was like, it just doesn't work that way. You keep building up all this popularity in the secular world, and it's not, once you hit that, and then I'm going to come out as a Christian, it just doesn't produce the results that you think that it will. And for me, for Kanye, I would, man, you've made $1 billion, even if you've blown $500 million of it, you still got 500 million. And so when is enough, and just serve God, that's where I hope he ends up. He's 45, that's still relatively young. He's got a long runway. I would like to see him, jump all the way to one side. And what gives me hope, and I was kind of surprised reading your piece that this wasn't, I thought the thing that would catch your attention the most was, and I know he's taken a stand on abortion before, but he really took a stand last night. I think the lanyard and all of that, and then his explanation, that was probably what was most impressive to me, was the strong position he took on abortion.
And I weaved it into my piece. It wasn't sort of the headline, but I agree with you. One area in which he's been remarkably consistent, at least the last couple of years, is on his stance on abortion. And I respect that. And I think I said in my piece, particularly him linking it to Black genocide. He is very clear on that part. And in that way, there's a bright contrast between him and the pro-BLM faction that basically dominates the left, right? Because these are people who, on one hand, say Black Lives Matter, and they got the fist in the air and the black square, and then they'll turn around and say, well, abortion is part of Black liberation. And I think his firmness in that area really is one of the things that the left hates, because the thrust of my piece is that the left, in terms of its rhetoric, its policy, its social norms, its cultural values, pushes death and destruction in the Black community. And Kanye West is a stark contrast to that. And I know you all talked about it a couple of days ago on the show. I brought up the no voting, no vucking, vucking with a V, video, and the get your booty to the polls stuff. And you can see, again, the left is constantly pumping garbage into our community. And as I said in my piece, the Klan and its Minister of Information, Jason, the Klan would trade every first daughter to O.J. Simpson for access to the type of garbage that the left pumps into our community. Because anybody who's honest and has looked over the last 30 years, and Kanye has to know this, and I think he said as much, Black death is very, very profitable as long as the killing instrument is a Glock held by a Black man instead of a noose held by a white man. And I think what he does is he brings attention to that contrast and to that hypocrisy. Because to your point in your monologue, these same people who say, oh, white lives matter, that shirt is a cause for, national emergency and consternation, when his body's dropping in Chicago and in Philly and in Baltimore and DC and Atlanta and Cleveland and New York, these people are completely silent. So I do think, anytime he's talking about life issues, that's when you get sort of that strongest Kanye.
Delano, thank you for the time. We got a bunch of people I want to give a chance to talk about this. Thank you, great job. Putting your life on autopilot is a guaranteed way to disappointment. If you carelessly buy a new house, marry just anybody, or make any other big life decision before taking care of yourself, what are you doing? Let's be honest. The insurance model is broken. Thanks to Crowd Health, we can do something about it. Crowd Health puts your health care back in your hands. Cut out the middleman, save money, and fund your health care costs without relying on big government or big insurance companies. Only pay the first $500 of any healthcare event. The Crowd Health community takes care of the rest. No exclusive doctor networks, no huge premiums or high deductibles, no surprises. Crowd Health beats insurance by totally reversing the vicious incentives that got us into this mess in the first place. So take charge of your health care today with Crowd Health. Open enrollment is the only time you can hit eject on the broken system without penalty. So don't wait. And for a limited time, join for just $99 per month for your first 6 months when you use the promo code FEARLESS at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, promo code FEARLESS. Crowd Health is not health insurance. It's a totally different way of paying for health care. Terms and conditions may apply. All right, you can email me and us at fearless@theblaze.com. Shemeka Michelle, X. All right, welcome back. Let's roll out to North Carolina, bring in Shemeka Michelle, continue our conversation about Kanye West. Shemeka, I know you had an opportunity to watch Kanye last night. And one of the things I wanted to get into with you about first were his comments about Lizzo and obesity. It was another one of those odd moments, but it was also one of those truthful moments where this is what I love and like about Kanye West. Let's play the clip of Kanye talking about obesity.
Because the media wants to put out a perception that being overweight is the new goal when it's actually unhealthy. Yes. Let's get aside the fact of whether it's fashion and vogue, which it's not. Let's just, or if someone thinks it's attractive, to each his own. It's actually clinically unhealthy. And for people to promote that, it's demonic. You know.
What, can I ask?
Yeah.
I've noticed this also.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would want to promote unhealthiness among the population?
It's a genocide of the black race. They want to kill us in any way they can. Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, and I believe that if we saw ourselves as a people and not a race, then we would treat our people better.
That was phenomenal and fantastic. And for him, because it's exactly what I believe and what I've been arguing forever, is like anything that kills people, black people in general, the left seems to be for. Obesity, abortion, ghetto gun violence, black men, gangs killing each other. They got nothing to say about that. They love to rap about it and go to hear rap songs about it. Anyway, your reaction to his comments about obesity and basically saying that this whole thing is demonic.
I think he was spot on. It's exactly what we've been talking about on this show, that right now, Black culture is promoting death. It's turning into a death culture. So I appreciated that. What I think it also showed me was when he was talking about his trainer or his nutritionist also helps Lizzo. It makes me feel like she is under pressure as well to continue to promote this type of death culture, because I had no idea she even wanted to lose weight. It seems like all she does is promote unhealthiness by saying, "Hey, I'm fat. Look at me. This is the way you need to be. I'm sexy." And so it again just confirmed the pressure that they're under when they're in Hollywood to kind of go along with whatever is being told to them, because I would not have known. I'd heard that she maybe was vegan or that she tries to eat healthy, but it doesn't show in the way that she presents herself, especially on social media. So I appreciated him saying that as well.
People will think I got a tinfoil hat on and I'm part of some conspiracy or whatever, but I honestly believe she's paid to promote obesity. That's part of her job. Whoever her MK Ultra handler is or are, her job is to promote obesity and to promote a death, basically, assisted suicide or a suicide mission of obesity. There, again, having been overweight for a long time, there are no fat people that don't want to lose weight. The whole "I'm jolly, I'm happy," and it's all a lie. Her walking around with that thong up her rear end and all that blubber hanging out, she knows that ain't the look. But she's getting paid for that, and so she does it. But I've never for 1 minute believed that this 350 to 370 pound woman is happy being that big.
Right. I agree that she's being paid. There's some ad that she's in. I can't remember what it's for, maybe Postmates. I'm not sure. But she's sitting in a bathtub and she's like ordering online and she's calling out all of these foods that are unhealthy that she's putting in her cart. And so, of course, we know she was paid for that. But I was thinking she's putting all of these things in her cart that I wouldn't even eat. As a small woman, why is she even promoting this? So I definitely agree. It reminds me of when Monique, when she was really heavy, how she used to always say skinny women are evil. But now all she puts out is the healthy cuisine that she cooks, or she's putting out videos where she exercises. So I'm like, if we were that evil, you sure want to be one of us, because she knew it wasn't healthy and it wasn't good for her. So that's exactly what I see with Lizzo. And I'm just glad Kanye brought that out. It just shows the evil that's actually in the industry and in the entertainment business, and how they are really puppets and pawns. I think that's why we see that struggle with even Kanye, because he has this, obligation, I guess, to fulfill what he feels like he's supposed to do in the industry. But then he also has this connection to God. And you can see the war within, even while watching the interview. It was so intriguing to just watch him. Last night, it was so good. But you can see the war going on within him.
Do you think his values and deeds conflict with each other in a way that perhaps mine and yours don't? I just think his are more public. I think all of us have a set of values, and a lot of times our actions conflict with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it may be more weight on him when we look at it. We know that God has no respect to person. I think that you have people, though, that even in the industry may say, well, I have a relationship with God. But I feel about that like many are called, but the chosen are few. And Kanye very well may be a chosen one. I remember looking at his documentary on Netflix and called Genius, and just watching him from where he came from, I was thinking, he might be a genius. Absolutely. I can see the brilliance, and some people try to say he has a mental illness. they would have said the same thing about Einstein. As a matter of fact, some people do think that Einstein had a mental illness. And so when I look at Kanye, I think about the great men, even in the Bible. You know, Moses killed the man, but he also freed his people. You had David, who committed adultery and then set the man up to be murdered, but he is David, you know? And so when I see that battle going on between Kanye or anybody, as a matter of fact, it doesn't make me think any less of God or you know, the ability to be saved or live holy or righteous. It just lets me know that we have work to do, but we can also do it, because I'm one of the people that I don't believe Jesus came just to show us who he was. I believe he came to show us who we are and who we can actually be if we really lean into God. So it was just a great interview for me to see and just to believe in him even more. I'm with you. Like I got Kanye's back too with this and this foolishness that Puffy is trying to step in and be the, you know, bring him down. We don't need Puffy to do any of that. I don't believe that Puffy even has the relationship that he claims, because I never see it. When he talks about, you know, he's jumping around the stage talking about he know Biggie's in heaven smiling down. I don't think so. I think he looking down waiting for Puffy to get what's coming to him, because he's been so evil and doing so many horrible things to his artists. But I think Kanye is on.
Hold for 1 second, Shemeka. I want to get the audience up to speed, because I was going to ask you about this, so I'm glad you went there. Just to get the audience up to speed, over Instagram, Kanye has posted his text exchange between himself and Puff Daddy or Diddy. What is Sean Combs calling himself now? But he's posted their, he's posted their text exchanges, and like, I'm gonna read you an example of one. This is Puffy saying, "I'm just trying to talk to you as a black man, and I'm talking to you because this is hurting our people. Stop." And so I would assume this is him reacting to the interview last night on Tucker Carlson. And so let's just examine this. What did Kanye say last night that's hurting our people? I guess White Lives Matter, that t-shirt, that could be the only thing how is that hurting our people?
Yeah, what's hurting our people is the way that Puffy takes these artists and he actually railroads them and he uses them. And you look at Black Rob, look at what happened to him. Look at Craig Mack, what happened to him. Biggie, you know, he had some success, but then he was snuffed out. I don't understand why Mace and Puffy going back and forth. I don't understand why Puffy would see Kanye as any type of threat to the Black community when he's talking about families. He's talking about fathers being in the lives of their children. He's talking about actually following God. He's talking about saving the babies that Black people are trying to murder. He speaks against the death culture. So I don't know how Puffy would even form his lips to say anything when all we've seen him do is be a serial dater, never really taking any woman seriously, and not even, treating the women that have birthed his kids the way they deserve to be treated. Puffy needs to sit down somewhere and continue dating younger girls so he can feel like he's not as old as he is, bopping around the stage looking like he ate one of his last artists.
And then it got really interesting. Puffy texts him, N-word, send me an address. Let's stop playing these internet games and don't feel threatened. You'll be fine. Just love. Kanye responded with something like, woo! He brought all the heat with this. He says, this ain't a game. I'm going to use you as an example to show the Jewish people that told you to call me that no one can threaten or influence me. I told you this was war. Now go on and get you some business.
Yeah,
he opened up a can with that.
He did. And you know what I appreciated even last night? I felt like the only word he was missing was uniparty. Because not only did he come after the Democrats, he came after the Republicans when he was talking about Jared Kushner and his family. I was thinking, wow, Kanye, he just doesn't know that word. He doesn't, I think maybe he knows it exists, but didn't have the word for it. And so I appreciated the fact that he understands right now he is a warrior, and there are certainly things that he has to stand against. Is it going to be difficult for him? Yes, but there's no other protector, savior. Your help cometh from the Lord. So lift up your eyes to the hills, Kanye, because that's where you're going to need to pull your strength from. And I'm glad that he understands that and says that he only is performing for an artist of, for one person, an audience of one.
Shemeka, thank you. Great job. Have a great weekend. We continue to pray for you and your family. We'll be thinking about you. Have a great weekend. Get your Fearless Army swag at shopblazemedia.com/fearless. Royce White, and we'll continue our conversation on Kanye.
It's my obligation, no hate, discrimination, raising up your hands for freedom.
All right, welcome back. We'll roll out to Minneapolis, bring in Royce White, get a little deeper into this conversation about Kanye West and his bold interview with Tucker Carlson and the reaction to his White Lives Matter t-shirt. And Royce, I'll start with a relatively easy and obvious question, but we got to start somewhere. Why is Kanye the only high-profile celebrity that doesn't appear interested in just completely selling out black people in America?
Well, first, I think, Kanye is, shout out to Kanye West, because he threw down on the big three and he helped Cube out with that. He's one of the only black celebrities in our culture that saw the importance of throwing down and helping Cube maintain that league. So shout out to him for that. And he's turning into quite the hero. I've watched him over the years and had questions at certain times and disagreed with how he did some things, but overall he's turning into quite the hero. And I think he did a great job yesterday of describing, and Tucker did as well, but describing the nation of gatekeepers that we have, right? Instead of shopkeepers, we have a nation of gatekeepers, and the epidemic of selling out that is all in the interest of a satanic agenda. I think for me, when I watched it, I was inspired because it reiterates why I continue to stress that sports and politics are the same. And I think it's also why this show is important and why it's been successful and is going to continue to be successful. Is because, when I say sports and politics are the same, I'm not saying sports specifically. I'm saying sports as an example of this celebrity, entertainment, pop culture. Right. And it's music, it's art, it's fashion, it's sports, it's comedy, it's reality TV, it's mainstream television. And what Kanye West has described yesterday and what Tucker did a great job of helping describe is how the mainstream narrative has been cultivated by gatekeepers and has been aided and abetted by a nation, a black community, a black nation of sellouts. And the sellouts, and look, I want to get this clear, too. Race is not the most important issue on the table. We've clarified that a number of times. But when it comes to this, when it comes to the epidemic of sellouts, race is an important issue because black people and black race and the history of blacks has been used and used to lead this mainstream narrative. And the mainstream narrative is real simple. Trade your American citizenship for global citizenship. Trade your Christianity for technology, and trade your individual rights for collectivism. And Kanye West is trying to break that, and I commend him for it.
Yeah, Royce, I agree with you that race is a central issue in what's going on in America and how the game the left is playing is built around a racial narrative and is built on the fundamental belief that we will sell out, that we will sell out our country and we will sell out each other. And to me, it's a statement of like, hey, look, these are the guys, and I'm sorry if this makes people uncomfortable, but this is what they're saying about us, is, hey, these are the people that over in Africa captured each other, enslaved each other, and then sold them to Europeans. And what they're saying is like, nothing has changed. These people will sell each other out. And that's why I sit here and applaud Kanye, and we're gonna have to mix in what he's doing with Puff Daddy or Diddy over Instagram today. It ties right into it. This man called Diddy a fed. And he basically said, and Jewish people put you up to calling me and demanding that I say X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
This is as courageous as I've ever seen any celebrity. It blows my mind that he went there and he's putting the truth out in everybody's face. Are we going to ignore it?
Well, I mean, I think it's courageous for him because he stands to lose the most. And I think, you know, when you look at him or Kyrie Irving, you have to start to mention these people with the Muhammad Ali type athletes or the Muhammad Ali type public figures. And the motif of Muhammad Ali is simple: saying what's right and true when you stand to lose the most and gain little. And that is the cultural motif of Muhammad Ali, and a guy like Kyrie Irving and Kanye West are proving why they deserve to be in that discussion. You know, he is surrounded, you know, and I feel bad for him in many ways because I can look out into the mainstream and look at our culture and understand that the sellout epidemic amongst the black bourgeoisie is upwards of 99.9%. I mean, I put a video out the other day about LeBron James and him taking $1 billion from Nike to keep his mouth quiet about anything that has to do with China. And people, even in our own culture, lashed out at me and said, well, you know, he built the school, or why does he need to speak about China? What can he do? Or what about MJ? Or all these other responses that really point to one central problem that we're having in America with Black America. Our acceptance of these sellouts, these black bourgeoisie sellouts, is a reflection of our own impetus to sell out. See, it's not LeBron James that's really the problem. It's not Barack Obama that's the problem. It's not Oprah Winfrey that's the problem. There's always been people who are willing to sell their soul for their own individual gain. The real problem is that we've created a society that's technologically advanced enough to watch these people contradict themselves, and we still follow. And so after a while, if you see people follow lies and liars, the thing that you have to come to in your own heart and mind, even though they're your fellow community men and women, is that these people have the spirit of selling out in them. They want to sell out. The scary part is they're not even getting an offer, right? I mean, it's one thing if you get an offer to sell out for $1 billion and you take it. It's another thing if nobody's making you an offer and you're preparing your resume on the off chance that somebody will make you an offer in the future, right? And that's what many black people in our community are plagued with is this, this preparation of taking the call or the check from the very gatekeepers that Kanye West described.
I'm going to connect your comments about LeBron James to your comments about Kanye and the Big Three. And connect him to LeBron James, the whole sports world. Oh, LeBron James told Adam Silver he wants to own an NBA team in Las Vegas. And there will never be anybody say, well, hold on, LeBron, why not do your own thing? If this system that y'all say is so racist, you just want to bake yourself into that system rather than do your own thing. If the Big Three if Ice Cube needed some help getting the Big Three off the ground and stabilized, why is it Kanye West? Why isn't it LeBron James? This is taking care of basketball and basketball people post their career, the whole 9 years. It seems like there would be a perfect synergy, but all LeBron can think about is his legacy and joining the group of people that he's constantly calling racist and let me get inside the club and let me own a team in Las Vegas rather than let me do my own thing. And that's where I'm just in total agreement with you about LeBron and just our instincts aren't right, man.
Well, let's look at it like this. And we've talked about this Jewish. Look, when I talk about Jewish people, let's just be clear. On a historical basis, it's not clear whether or not Jews should be categorized as black or white. The original Hebrews were from Northern Africa, Northeastern Africa. So that's just as black as anybody else, blacker than me, probably in many regards. So when I talk about the culture of the Jewish bourgeoisie and the black bourgeoisie being very similar, it's an equal criticism. And I think the criticism is fair. The difference is that, you know, the cultural motif that we've adopted in our black elites tries to mimic the Jewish elite in many ways, and that is to try and assimilate ourselves next to what we deem as the enemy, right? Make them bend to us. Let's blend in with them, right? Let's become them, or let's make them accept us. And you know, that's just not American. That's the real problem here. Is it's not American to say, hey, you're corrupt, you're anti-black, or you're racist, or whatever the claim may be, and then say, I have to be next to you in order to be safe. No, it's I have to battle you in the arena of ideas, and I have to stand for rights and morals and ethics, and I have to have sacred honor. And if I die in defense of that, or standing up for that, then that's righteous. But we've lost all sense of righteousness, especially in the black community. And we don't only take that cue from the Jewish elite. That's something that's a problem amongst all races of modern people. But the real problem with LeBron is that he has a loose association with the truth. He and many other black people in America have this belief that the truth is only important when it's advantageous for your own individual gain. And by default, that makes you a Satanist. Right. And I talked the other day about God being truth. And if God is truth, if your association with the truth puts you close to God, then your loose association with the truth and your association with lies and deceit puts you in league with Satan. And it's really that simple. So when Kanye West, when Steve Bannon, when Alex Jones, when Royce White or Jason Whitlock talk about Satan in a political, cultural context, we're talking from a fundamental philosophical standpoint. If you are not one with the truth, or if you're only one with the truth when it benefits you, then you're nowhere near God. You're nowhere near righteousness or morals or ethics. And that's his entire legacy up until this point is, you know, it's true when it's good for me. It's truth when it's good for me. Any other time, it's either silence or it's gerrymandering.
So I want to bear down or focus in a little bit on this exchange between West and Diddy, this Instagram exchange. He called Diddy a fed. And people will hear that and think, oh, he's exaggerating, or but he's basically saying Diddy is bought and paid for to be an agent of chaos and a promoter of debauchery and a death culture for black people, that he's a puppet for the Satanists. And I love the fact that Kanye called this whole thing demonic. I love that he went there. I just happen to totally agree with him as it relates to Diddy. I'm just wondering, what repercussions, or do you think Kanye will be able to withstand the repercussions of this bold move? He says in there, it's wartime. He's presenting himself over social media like he doesn't care about the consequences.
Yeah.
But I think the consequences are coming, and do you think he'll be able to survive this?
It's hard to say. I mean, honestly, when you step forward and speak out about the fundamental issues and the BS narrative that hangs over our community, specifically the black community, you're risking your life. And so people may, and I already know what the mainstream narrative is going to be. They're going to try and say that he's acting paranoid, or this is a byproduct of his bipolar or mental illness, or the fact that he's indicating or alluding to somebody trying to do violence against him for speaking about these issues. But it's a harsh reality. I mean, how soon do we forget that the black leaders we claim to revere were all undermined and betrayed by fellow black comrades in their own inner circle? It happened with Malcolm. It happened with Fred Hampton. Many say Martin Luther King was a very similar deal. And so Kanye West is right to be fearful or to at least voice the reality that the hate from fellow black Americans, the resent from the black community for suggesting that they stand up and have some accountability and take a hold of their destiny comes with the possibility of death and violence from your fellow black people. I hear and see it all the time. I mean, I'm a little bit different. I'm 6'8", 270 pounds. So, I'm not really scared of people physically, but, we live in a world where people are, we're shooting each other every day. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to be a rapper or a black celebrity in this day and age anyway, because it seems that many everyday black people are hell-bent on targeting successful black people to steal from them or kill them. There's a difference between criticizing your fellow black man based on the merits of their ideas and going out and robbing and killing a black man for the material possessions he has. And I think on the internet, like Black Twitter or Instagram, we get the two mixed up. If Jason Whitlock criticizes LeBron, they'll say, oh, we're always trying to bring our own down. No, we're just saying that don't be misguided by false prophets, that to have success within the system you say is corrupt does not negate you from having any criticism. That's ridiculous on its face, because then we're doomed to be misled by false prophets. I mean, if anybody who can get $1 million in a corrupt system you have to follow and never criticize, you're a puppet. You become a puppet. But the real prevalent thing, and this is what LeBron doesn't talk about, which makes him corrupt as well, is how about how much we just rob and kill each other, right? I mean, that is just in the black celebrity community alone, the amount of black celebrities that we're losing on a weekly, month-by-month basis is alarming. And all people can say in the aftermath is, well, people are hungry out here, and, people got to eat, and we don't got enough resources, and this is why, people, and we almost end up glorifying it. It's like, we need a reformation in the black community, and it's not benign to the overall destiny of America. And I think a lot of conservatives believe that we can save America without black America being reformed, but we can't, because the white women are out. All right, the white women are going to vote Democrat until the end of time because they're narcissists. The white liberal women, they're narcissists. They believe in the here and now. They believe they're the center of the world, the universe. They're an open rejection of God. The only answer is if we get black and Hispanic men to vote for this country, to vote America first. And if we do that, then we have a fighting chance. So we don't save America without black America. So I hope we continue to get the right message to these young black folks.
I want to further your point in terms of this culture we've set up and just how commonplace and normalized it is for people to promote an atmosphere of death around black people they disagree with or black celebrities or whatever. Isaac Hayes III, who I believe is the son of Isaac Hayes, the singer. He's blue check. He's, over social media. This guy tweeted at Kanye. Kanye West wore that White Lives Matter t-shirt in the safety, security, and distance of Paris, France. I bet you he won't wear that shirt in Atlanta, Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, Memphis, Houston, Compton, or Queens. I dare him to go stand in any hood in America with that shirt on. He's basically telling people like, hey man, if y'all catch Kanye out in traffic, kill him. And this is normalized. See, this is a and first of all, what he's saying about us is that we're so racist, black people, we're so racist that the whole idea of white lives mattering is so offensive to us that we would kill someone for wearing it in one of our neighborhoods.
It's true. I think he's spot on, to be honest with you. And we got to talk about it in matters of numbers and percentages. Now, is the overwhelming black community so racist that they would be violent towards Kanye West in a moment's notice for having a shirt on? No, I think most black people suffer from this passive relationship with their American citizenship and their rights and their philosophical understanding. I think that's the most. But the small percentage is the one that do the most damage. That's the Pareto distribution. It's 10% with the successful people, but it's also 10% with the corrupt and the violent, right? The minority of percentage of people do the most damage. And is there enough of those out there where Kanye West should be worried? Absolutely. There's enough of those out there where Kanye West should be worried without wearing the shirt. And that's what Isaac Hayes and any other black man knows who comes from the black community. He don't have to wear the shirt to have to be worried about getting caught in traffic in Detroit or Compton or Brooklyn or Queens or Miami or Houston or anywhere and have violence done upon him, because we see that happening to all kinds of other people who, by most metrics, are as down and hood and cool as possible, right, by the cultural standards. So, he's saying that, but the real question is like, what do you even mean by that? Like, that's not glorifiable. That's not something that's a hindrance. That's a black mark on our people. That's not a sign of us having black pride or honor or sacred honor or any of that. That's just Satanism is what it is. So, yeah.
It's basically saying nothing has changed from the 1800s in Dahomey, Africa. Y'all brought them values from Dahomey, Africa over here to America, and you will do harm to each other at the drop of a hat and just expect everybody to deal with it and accept it. That's the mentality. It's sickening and embarrassing to me, and I gotta just give Kanye credit for explaining it yesterday as basic. And again, he's not a broadcaster. He's a creative person and a thinker. So he didn't say it as clearly as I'm saying it, but he's basically saying, man, this is a spiritual war we got going on. And this is a battle of good versus evil. And he's basically saying, I'm trying my best to be on the side of good. And this other side that I'm fighting is demonic. It's every aspect of it. And we have to accept and deal with that, particularly those of us that are believers. Our music is demonic and promotes our own self-destruction. Yeah. It promotes disrespect of ourselves. And the things that we think are fundamental issues, the right to kill our babies in the womb. Abortion is good and liberating. That's demonic. And anybody co-signing for that, passively or enthusiastically, they're just wrong and evil. And I give what my number one thing last night and then this morning watching his exchange with Diddy is like, oh man, this is inspiring. I'm looking at 45-year-old billionaire that's willing to lay it on the line, and I need to be right out there with him. I'm very inspired by Kanye.
And I want to say one final thing about this Isaac Hayes comment. Here's the subtle implication of it, and this is a very, very, very intentional move by the communist ethos. We don't want you to believe in the right to bear arms. We don't want you to believe in the Second Amendment, but then we'll threaten cultural violence against you from the criminals, right? I mean, there's something extremely un-American about that just in its premise. And this is where a place like Mexico comes in and debunks all of these anti-Second Amendment folks, because Mexico has one gun store, okay, and it's owned by the government. Only people that have guns in Mexico are the government and the cartels. And both of them are in on the drug trade together. So the victims of gun violence are usually the everyday Mexican citizen who's just trying to live their life. And what this guy is basically saying is, you go to Detroit, you go to New York, you go to one of these, black communities, they catch you with a gun because they're actually criminals and using their gun in a violent, non-legal way. You just got to take that, because we decided as Black Twitter, or we decided as the Black internet, that you're persona non grata. I mean, think about it. If I'm Kanye West right now, I'm gonna take $1 billion. I'm gonna keep the Navy SEALs with me. Go get you some mercs. I don't care if they're white, black, Latino. I don't care what they are. Get you 20 people around you and have them carrying guns. Remember when George Floyd happened, everybody was all big on the black folks carrying guns. I saw that. I was out there myself, and we had guys open carry, and you could see the white liberals get real sensitive about that. Anytime they see a black man with a long gun out there on the streets, they're like, I don't know if this is the movement I want to be a part of. And I took pleasure in seeing that discomforted them. But the one criticism I do have with Kanye West is that because he comes from the celebrity sort of grand spectacle culture, and I thought you made a good point about Candace Owens in this way. The shirts are really, they are salacious in spirit, right? Just on the face of it. Go back to the Sunday service. Brother Kanye, if you can hear me out there somewhere, go back to the Sunday service, because that was the real hitter. Jesus is King. That's really going to move the needle, in my opinion. The shirt, in many ways, just does cause a lot of commotion. Because nobody should even have to say white lives matter. And the people who you're saying it to, they're not going to change their mind anyway. The gospel can change minds. And Kanye West is uniquely positioned and uniquely talented to be able to bring the gospel to the mainstream in a way that not many can and not many have done before him. I want him to go back to Sunday service Kanye. The Kanye Candace tandem it's meek in comparison, I think.
I get where you're coming from and agree with you. I did reach another conclusion that, and again, it's along the same lines. She's got a documentary coming out in 5 days, and I think he's helping her promote it. And it's her documentary is going to be a takedown of Black Lives Matter. They've stirred up this whole conversation. And here in 5 days, her documentary is going to get released. I think it's October 12th. And so I think he's doing her a promotional solid. But Jason, I believe you're right.
But Jason, here's one thing that again, we on the right in conservative movement have to criticize ourselves as well. And I take it and you take it, and we have to be willing to. I love Kanye. He's a hero. And he should keep going. And he's right on the brink of being as transformative a figure that we could name. But don't go tit for tat with these people. Don't go tit for tat with these people. And it's not by accident. See, Satan is totally willing. He will settle for spiritual pride. A lot of people think that we just fail in the physical. But Satan's totally fine with winning as a result of our own spiritual pride. And so, it's like, it's not by accident that a person like Kanye is in the position he's in. It would sometimes opt for the tit for tat instead of the transcendent path, right? There's a reason why a Jason Whitlock doesn't necessarily have the platform that a Kanye West would, because you're going to discern these things in a way that cuts straight to the bone, right? You wouldn't come with that type of salacious gesture. And I understand that grandiosity and grand gestures get the eyes, and that's the culture we live in. But the truly transcendent figures are going to find a way to reject that and still be transformative. And that's what I'm looking forward to. When Kanye West gets away from the antics and gets into gospel Kanye, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Like, I'm getting my popcorn out. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kanye West, though, man. He's doing a great job.
Thank you, Royce. Awesome job. Have a great weekend. You guys on YouTube /Jason Whitlock, hit the notifications, hit the subscribe. Virgil Walker, the bow-tied bandit. All right, welcome back. Time for some Virgil Walker. Brother Virgil will close out today's show and discussion on Kanye West. Virgil, welcome to the show. And one of the things I found interesting about your takeaway from last night is you kind of honed in on Kanye's discussion of his father, which is the first time I can remember hearing him really go into any kind of detail about his dad. And it made me, and I think it's going to make people wonder, does Kanye have daddy issues?
Yeah. It's interesting because all you've ever heard about Kanye West was about his mother, Donna West. And it was nonstop. I mean, every aspect of what he talked about, if you checked out the documentary Genius on Netflix, everything revolved around his mother. And again, that's not uncommon in A, the Black community, and B, single mother homes, right? Where the young man grows up, all he knows is his mother, and everything that he hears from his mother about his father is bad. You know, that man ain't no good. Don't be like your dad. You know, all those kinds of messages begin to sink in. And so the thought is that mothers are indeed to be worshipped. And what you learned from his commentary about that was simply that fathers actually still matter. Fathers actually matter, even in a culture that worships at the altar of feminism. His mom had really told, in fact, he said, Mom told Dad that if he came to find them, that he would never see his son again. That kind of commentary is played out over and over and over again in far too many Black homes, where these boys don't know what to do, don't know where to go, are looking for father figures. And so the end result of that is they begin to seek out a way to make a name for themselves. Most of the time when they do that, they're trying to reclaim an image, an idea of who they are. And they either do that in a positive way or they'll do it in a negative way. If they're doing it in a positive way, they'll do kind of what Kanye did with regard to sports and rap and music and the like. But again, that even has its downfalls as it relates to the negative aspects you've talked about on the show. With regard to putting too much of an emphasis on sports, too many young people seeking too few opportunities. On the flip side of that, you have the drug culture, the gang culture, and the like. And so those are the two kind of areas that Black boys in particular end up going to. You almost have to, in those instances, whether it's gang culture, drug culture, or rap, you have to believe you're invincible, you're godlike in order to maintain your lifestyle or an ability to make money, to gain wealth, and gain a name for yourself. What ends up happening as a result of that, Jason, is those kids recognize they're not God. Over the course of time, they'll either, if they live long enough, most of them are getting shot, killed, and their lives are over. But to the point that where you get to where Kanye is, you begin to recognize, A, you're not God, and B, that the fame that you sought for is not going to be a help to you. That faith in God, not fame, is actually the key to life. I think that's where Kanye is in his journey right now. He's at the point where he recognizes that you can gain the whole world and still lose your soul. I thought about the story of Jesus taking Satan up on a mountaintop, where he tells him, "I'll give you the kingdoms of the world." This is in Matthew 4, and Jesus, of course, rightly says, "I'm not going to bow down and worship you. God's the only one to be worshipped." Unfortunately, so many rap artists, folks who are seeking fame and fortune, are actually bowing the knee to Satan himself in an effort to promote these ideas that they're engaged in. I found the whole interview really thought-provoking on that scale. There's so many other facets to talk about, but the overarching ideas that I had really centered around fatherlessness, fame, the need for faith, and ultimately, and I think you summed this up well when you were on at the end of Tucker's segment, where you really pled for folks to be fearless. You were asking culture, men in particular, to be fearless on these issues and be willing to stand for truth.
The thing, hearing him talk about his father helped me understand, oh, this is part of what his drive is, trying not to give up on his marriage.
Yeah.
He went on to say, basically, he didn't fully explain it, but he basically said, that's why I bought the house next door to Kim, because I want access to my kids. I don't want them to experience what I experienced growing up without my dad and having to reconnect really with him later in life. And now we have a good relationship, blah, blah, blah. And so his conversation about his dad helped me understand where Kanye's at mentally. It just seems like, and this is from way on the outside, but it looks like he just chose the wrong wife. She doesn't have a shared interest or vision the same as his.
Yeah, you reminded me of one of the thoughts that I had about this, which was really a warning to young men. You're seeking out the finest girl and the baddest baddie and the hottest this and the hottest that. What you need to be seeking is someone who's truly going to be a wife. Kim Kardashian is not a wife. She may be a lot of things, but a wife ain't one of them. She is not there called alongside her husband to help see his vision move forward. She's not a help meet, right? And so unfortunately, Jason, the common theme in the culture is witnessing young girls, young women growing up idolizing the Kim Kardashian look, way, thought, idea. That's what young girls are now being trained in and trained by, and they think that's the ideal. And I've got sons. I've got a young son at home. He's 18 years old. I cannot imagine. I mean, I'm trying to think through even now. How does he find a wife, a woman to not a feminist, not somebody who's trying to be Will and Jada Pinkett. I mean, where are they going to go? What are they looking for? And then building up these men so that they're not motivated by simply what's between their legs, right? They're motivated by a need, a desire, a drive to see the kingdom of God advance. What we witnessed last night was Kanye is there. And sadly, for far too many of us, it takes to the point where we're 40-something years old until we recognize how to right the ship. My hope would be that through watching interviews like that, conversations like that, by listening to what we're doing here at Fearless, what you're promoting and pushing forward, they'll not have to wait 40 years to land in that space.
So you came away from that last night believing in the sincerity of Kanye's walk with God. How should we assess his faith journey?
Yeah, I think you nailed it in that it is a journey. All of us are on some level of a journey, right? Some of us aren't. I won't say all of us are on a faith journey, because all of us are not on a faith journey. That's obvious. We wouldn't have the difficulties and the issues in the culture if that were the case. But for those of us who profess Christ, who are indeed living a life that's reflective of that conviction, we're on a journey, and it's not perfect. It definitely has its ebbs and flows. It definitely has its ups and downs. I can only speak to my own journey. I got saved early in high school. And as a result, I think it kept me from a lot of crazy and chaos that I would have otherwise been engaged in. At the same time, it wasn't perfect, right? There are pitfalls, there are sidesteps, there are missteps that I took in my journey. The difference is I didn't have 13 million followers watching me on, watching all of this stuff play out in real time, or have the paparazzi chasing me down. Do I believe Kanye's faith is genuine? I believe it is, in so much as he understands what he's committed to in his faith with God. I think it's in desperate need of discipleship. His faith walk is in desperate need of someone to come alongside him and really mentor. The word is not mentor. Biblically speaking, it is disciple him. He needs to be discipled. He needs to have an older man come alongside him, preferably in a church setting where he can, A, hear the word on a regular, consistent basis, B, have someone journey with him, someone he can talk to, confess sin with, cry with, stand up with, stand strong with, and be encouraged by. And again, He's in rare air. You know, he's the 0.5 of 1%, billionaire status. There's probably few people he trusts like that. At the same time, it's desperately needed, and that was obvious in the contradictory statements that he would make. One professing faith, and then on the other end, saying some things that really didn't bode well if he was serious about faith. He would say one thing about race or ethnicity or culture, and then on the other hand, he would appeal to race, ethnicity, and culture. I mean, it was just a back and forth. And I heard you earlier make mention of the fact that this guy's an artist. He's probably, he's not a commentator. He's not, the most articulate guy in the world. But I think he was being careful in some of the things that he said while being transparent in other things. And so there's this back and forth that was kind of going on that we got to watch unfold. And again, it'll probably happen again tonight as well.
Virgil, thank you so much. Have an awesome weekend. I'm going to see your guy, Chocolate Knox, tomorrow in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Bro, that's going to be a blast. I wish I was going, Jason. I wish I was going to be there with you, man. Y'all are going to have a blast.
We will. We'll be thinking about you. Have a great weekend. We'll play some tomorrow, and we'll see you next week.
Waiting for the countdown, coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came in like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on a corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free.